Hello and welcome to the Power BI June 2022 update. In this video, we'll explore what's new this month and see some demos of the highlights. We have some exciting new updates for you in the reporting section. First, the new Format Pane is now generally available. Thank you to everyone who provided feedback throughout the preview period to help us reach this point. And while we've moved everyone over to the new Format Pane and opened it up to the Power BI service, this doesn't mean the improvements stop here. We're still actively listening to your comments, so please keep sending them in. This month we've fixed some bugs and added a quality of life behavior change to the report page tooltips, automatically enabling pages for use as tooltips when changing their page size to tooltip size. Rosie will show us a demo of the new Format Pane.
The new Format Pane is now generally available. This is also shipped to the Power BI service. Thank you to those who have been providing valuable feedback throughout the preview. This does not mean that improvements stop here. And as an added reminder, if you'd like to keep the subcategories open to save from the added clicks, we've added the user preference setting last month via the More Options menu.
Next, for the Error Bars preview feature, we've revamped the Error Bars card in the Analytics pane to simplify the structure of the formatting options. Now, with fewer subcards to scroll through, you can more easily find and customize the various elements you want to see on your error bars. The major changes are that line options have now been moved into the Error Band subcard, and marker options have also now moved into the bar and band cards. Next, we've also made an update to information protection in Power BI Desktop. Currently, you can establish a live connection to a shared dataset in the Power BI service and create many different reports from the same dataset. If the dataset has a sensitivity label, Power BI will automatically apply the live dataset's sensitivity label to the PBIX file to maintain the data's classification and protection as it leaves the Power BI service. Next, we're excited to announce several new enhancements to the table visual for existing and new reports to improve performance, usability, and accessibility for all users. These updates include overall performance improvements for scrolling and rendering, new keyboard shortcuts for easier navigation, an enhanced row selection experience including an indicator and improved contrast, a new focus outline for contrast, updated conditional formatting icons, and the ability to associate images with alternative text in the formatting pane to describe images to blind and low vision users. Next, we've brought the Canvas Zoom feature to Teams and Quick Create. Last month, we shipped the feature to the desktop and service, and this month we're expanding the places which support this feature. For report readers, it's especially important for improving readability. For report creators, it helps magnify the canvas to make pixel-perfect tweaks. Users can drag the slider to set the zoom level or click the zoom percentage to launch the zoom level dialog and type in a custom input. And you can use the new quick Fit to Page button to get back to the default view. In the modeling section, we are excited to announce that you can now create composite Power BI models by connecting to SQL Server 2022 Analysis Services tabular models. SQL Server 2022 is available now for public preview, and when you upgrade or deploy tabular models to SQL Server 2022 Analysis Services, this DirectQuery connection becomes available in Power BI Desktop. Existing or new tabular models hosted on SQL Server 2022 Analysis Services can be joined with other data in Power BI Desktop to create a composite model. Next, in the Data Connectivity and Preparation section, we have several new and updated connectors for you this month. First, we've added an option to connect to the Datamarts preview feature. As a refresher, Datamarts in Power BI was officially announced in May of 2022 as a new Power BI Premium self-service capability that enables users to perform relational database analytics and uncover actionable insights from their data. You can now easily discover and connect to Datamarts from the Data Hub tab in the Power BI desktop ribbon. This feature allows users to find already created Datamarts and reuse them to easily build reports. From this option, you'll be able to see Datamarts you've created, or Datamarts that were shared with you by others in the organization. This will connect you to the Datamarts underlying auto-generated dataset using Live Connect so that you can easily create reports. To create new datasets on top of the Datamart, you can use the Azure SQL Database Connector and specify the Datamarts SQL connection string for server name. If you created the Datamart, you can get this string from the Datamart settings menu. If the Datamart was shared with you, you can get the SQL connection string from the Datamart info page from the Data Hub. Priyanka will take us through a demo of this feature.
We are super excited to announce the availability of Datamarts through Data Hub in Power BI Desktop. Before I start, let me provide a quick introduction of Datamart. Datamarts are self-service analytics solution enabling users to store and explore data that is loaded in a fully managed Azure SQL database. It offers simple no-code experience to gain insights for departmental needs. This capability is available in public preview for Power BI Premium users. When you create a Datamart or one of your team members shares a Datamart with you, you can connect to it in Power BI Desktop. The new Data Hub experience in Power BI Desktop shows the list of data assets that you can access. It contains users-created datasets, Datamarts, and auto-generated datasets. It lets you filter Datamarts from your data assets. You can see the list of Datamarts that you have access to and select the one to establish a connection in live mode to the underlying dataset that Datamart automatically generates for you. This experience will be improved soon so that you can choose to connect to the Datamarts SQL endpoint or the underlying dataset. You can see the tables populated in the field list. The model view shows the tables and relationships between them. This helps to reduce the time to insights as you can start building reports on the model data. In order to connect to the SQL endpoint of Datamart, you can use Azure SQL Database Connector. Just provide SQL connection string of Datamart and connect to start building reports. We really hope that this experience makes it a lot easier for consumers of Datamarts and creators of reports to build and share insights. Feel free to provide us feedback and also check out our documentation to learn more about Datamart.
We've also released a new Databricks connector which contains a preview generic data source, Databricks Beta, which supports OAuth on AWS. The OAuth on AWS preview will support users managed by Databricks directly. We're also excited to announce the SingleStore Power BI connector. SingleStore is the world's fastest database for all data-intensive applications. It provides a single unified database for analytical and transactional workloads with multi-model support for text, geospatial, time series, and more. The SingleStore Power BI connector provides a live connection to the database with support for DirectQuery, as well as the ability to import data into Power BI with standard and custom SQL import modes. Next, we've also updated the Anaplan, Azure Databricks, Dremio Cloud, FactSet Analytics, Hexagon PPM Smart API, Snowflake, Vessel Insight, and Workplace Analytics, now Viva Insights, connectors. For more information on all of their new behaviors and bug fixes, check out the monthly release blog link in the video description below. Next, we have a variety of updates for you in the service section. First, we introduced the public preview of Power BI Data Storytelling, an exciting new integration between Power BI and PowerPoint. Power BI Data Storytelling is a PowerPoint add-in developed by the Power BI team, which lets you add Power BI reports into PowerPoint slides and enjoy the interactivity of Power BI directly within your presentations. With data storytelling, data will always be up to date in your slides, whether you're building a presentation or presenting it live to others. This month, we're enabling storytelling starting points inside the Power BI report experience, making it easy and simple for you to get started with storytelling directly from the report you want to use in your presentation. Maya will take us through a demo of this exciting new feature.
Let's assume that I am an analyst working in a sales organization, preparing a presentation for my upcoming sales review meeting. In this meeting, I need to present the status of my team's opportunities pipeline. I have this Power BI report that helps me track the team's sales and opportunities, which I can use. Usually, I would take a screen capture for this report from Power BI service and paste it into my presentation. But with storytelling, I have a better way. I can now add a live view of my Power BI report directly to my slide. In order to do so, I use the Share action and select PowerPoint. I can either copy the link that was created for me or create new presentation with my report page already embedded in. But since I already have an existing presentation, I choose to use the link. Switching now to the presentation, here is the slide for my team's pipeline data. Now, I can use the new Power BI button in order to add Power BI storytelling add-in into the slide and paste the link I copied earlier from Power BI. Once Power BI verifies my credentials and permission to the report, my report page shows up here. And since I choose that any filter and slicer data will be carried out to here, you can see that the product category selection I made in Power BI service applies here as well. Let's see what else I can do in this report page here in my deck. First, I have the report metadata that shows me when data I see was last refreshed and if there is any business sensitivity label on it. And also, I have a way to open the report directly in Power BI service. In addition to the report information section, I have two sets of actions in the footer. The first one contains data-related actions, such as refresh and filters. And the second one is more an add-in related, where you can clear all the add-in configuration and start over with a new link, or launch a short learning experience that helps you quickly learn about the key capabilities in this Power BI add-in. In general, the entire view is interactive. I can change the product category if my presentation today should be focused on other products, for example, or see the additional data I have in the tooltip. I can also use bookmarks in order to switch between views. I can also decide that I want my audience to focus on the sales funnel only. For that, I will use Visual in Focus. And when I'm ready to present a presentation, I can hide the filter pane and minimize the footer to make sure that the content will be at the center of my presentation. All the changes and selections I made are automatically saved in the file. So when I share the presentation with others, they will view the data with the same selections I made. But if the underlying data in Power BI was updated, or if there is an RLS applied on the data, then the data inside of the add-in will be updated to reflect that. For cases I don't want the data to be updated, I can use the built-in action. Show as saved image. Now, instead of live view of my report, this is an image. And to bring back live data, all I need to do is to uncheck the option. I think that my presentation is ready now.
Next, we're excited to announce the Data Hub, the next step of the Datasets Hub that was announced in December of 2020. In the Data Hub, in addition to datasets, you will now find the newly released Datamarts. The Data Hub is a central location for data owners, report creators, and report consumers to manage, discover, and reuse data items across all workspaces. One major challenge we hear from customers is that users often build similar data over and over again, resulting in resource overload, governance complexity, and difficulty in identifying sources of truth. The Data Hub addresses these challenges by making it easier for users to discover existing quality data and reuse it to answer business questions and gain insights. Once you discover a data item that seems to have the right data, a click on the item opens the Data Details page, which provides important metadata, related reports, and actions you can take on the item. We've also brought the Data Hub to Power BI Desktop. Power BI report creators primarily use Desktop to build new content and then publish it to the Power BI service. When building new reports, instead of connecting to external data sources, the best practice is to connect to curated data available to them in Power BI. In Power BI Desktop, just as in the service, we would like to bring all Power BI data items into a single experience. With the Data Hub, users can find datasets and datamarts side by side, filter and search to find the data they need, and connect to create a report. Next, we have a number of exciting updates to announce for Power BI metrics. This month, we have the additions of multiple milestones to allow you to add date-associated milestones within a given metric, categorical metrics to help you track non-numerical items, and enrichment of the bulk editing feature. Milestones help you track incremental progress toward an overall end goal. With milestones, scorecards support more nuanced tracking scenarios like cumulative monthly targets, stepped revenue goals, and more. Each milestone you set is associated with a date, so you can accurately track your progress in your scorecard, the way you do in the rest of your organization. And with categorical metrics, scorecards support scenarios like accessibility, NPS category scores, and many more. You'll be able to select from existing categories, create new categories, and fill out current and target values with the appropriate selections. We've also expanded what you can control with bulk editing to include owner assignment, statuses, start dates, and due dates. We have some exciting new features for you in the Embedded Analytics section. First, our JS APIs now support hierarchy slices. Slices in Power BI are a type of on-canvas visual filter. Slices enable a user to sort and filter a packed report, viewing only the information they need. ISVs and developers can now interact with hierarchy slices using slicer APIs in our JS APIs. Using slicer APIs, you can get and set the state of a Power BI slicer. In addition, you can use load configuration to change the slicer state when loading a report. Next, we now support embedding paginated reports with data sources containing single sign-on. Specifically, when the data source has the single sign-on option enabled and your users access reports built on top of that data source, Power BI sends the related identity blob, which was received through the Generate Token v2 request in the queries, to the data source. This option enables Power BI to respect security settings that are set at the data source level. Next, developers can now set up parameters to paginated reports in Power BI by passing them in the payload settings through the JS SDK. You can further customize how the Power BI processes the paginated report by embedding parameters for filtering data that meets the parameter criteria. Next, ISVs can now enable their customers to create their own specific dataset that can be combined with a central dataset used for all of their customers. Customers can combine their own data from any data source connected to Power BI in any fashion and create their own measures and calculations. To embed a Power BI report with a dataset which has a DirectQuery connection to another Power BI dataset, you'll have to 1. Enter the Power BI portal and set the XMLA endpoint to read-only or read-write in the dataset's capacity, and 2. Generate a multi-resource embed token with all relevant dataset IDs specified in the request and the XMLA permissions parameter set to read-only. Next, we added a new improved method for deploying Power BI embedded multi-tenancy solution in scale called Service Principal Profile. It allows application owners to build a scalable application that enables better customer data isolation and establishes tighter security boundaries between customers. We have a couple of updates for you in the Developers section. First, starting from the API version 4.6 and above, developers must declare any privileged API calls their visuals require access to in order to operate. These currently include web access and downloading to a file from custom visuals. These privileges are granted in the capabilities.json file and will be displayed in the About dialog in the desktop and web when in edit mode. The visual will be permitted to access any special privileges only if it was predefined in capabilities.json. For each privilege, there is also a corresponding admin tenant setting in the admin portal that allows the Power BI admin to allow or block the visual's access to this privilege. New APIs are introduced to allow visuals to query the host at runtime to determine which of the privileges is enabled. We've also improved the load time for custom visuals considerably. Please make sure to update your visuals to the latest and greatest releases to enjoy the most recent enhancements. Next, we have some exciting new updates for you in the visualization section. New visuals available for you on AppSource this month include the Mapbox custom visual by Mapbox, the SCVation Flow basic visual by SCVation, the To Writeback visual by 2bit, and the Easy SPC visual by BCN Group. Updated visuals include the Milestone Trend Analysis chart by Nova Silva, the Inforiver Premium Edition, which is now certified, and Zebra BI Cards 1.2 by Zebra BI. Next, coming soon, we're planning to support display names through the Dataverse connector. Once released, you'll see display names automatically applied to all columns in the model when creating reports using the Dataverse connector in either import or DirectQuery mode. This should save Dataverse users a lot of time, as they won't need to manually name every column to match the friendly names end users are accustomed to seeing in their applications like Dynamics. However, we did want to give everyone advanced warning of this change, as there will be some impact on existing reports once the change rolls out. For all existing reports, you'll need to open the report up in Power BI Desktop and then refresh the model for display names to show up. On the first schema refresh, the display names will override any existing renames you've made in the report. So if you'd like to retain the unique names, you'll need to manually reapply your name changes in the model. This will only happen when the display names are first applied, so future schema refreshes should not require any rework. Overall, this change should reduce the amount of manual work having to be done to make reports based on Dataverse data easily readable and familiar for your report consumers. So look forward to learning all of the details of display name support in next month's post. And lastly, we appreciate your patience while we switch to WebView 2 as part of our infrastructure update. As we approach general availability, we want to be sure we have solved as many issues as possible. Starting with this release, you will see a warning every time you launch Power BI Desktop if you don't have WebView 2 installed. If you do see this warning, please install WebView 2 and enable it. And we invite you to join us on the Power BI community for this month's exciting challenge, the Charticulator Challenge. Visit aka.ms/PBI Challenge. You can either enter the Charticulator Challenge to be in the running for some great giveaways, or vote for your favourite Charticulator Challenge entry. Just give it a kudo. And that's all for this month. As always, we hope you enjoy the updates, and please keep sending us feedback on what you'd like to see in upcoming releases. Thank you so much for watching, and we look forward to you joining us next month.